You're such an asshole.
All right, banging them out. Hey, asshole, long-time listener and repeat customer. I've read 3 of your books and 1 essay. I'll make sure I'm live. There we go. We're good. Best toilet read ever. My life has been changed by the power of the asshole, but there is one question that I have that is not really covered in any of your books, and that is the concept of another man's work. Let me explain. About 10 years ago, my wife and I were expecting our first son. We were renovating our house. I stripped the room down to the studs, put in the insulation. I invited a friend over to help me put up the drywall. When he came over and saw that we were about to do, he asked me if I knew what I was doing. I hung up drywall before, but I was no expert. He then rebuked me and told me I was taking away another man's work. Okay, so already this guy's an idiot, not the other man, but your friend. How poor is he? I just want to or is he like some old time union worker? Like, he knows where Jimmy Hoff is buried. I thought he was trying to get out of helping me, but he called a friend of his, paid him. Yes, I have really good friends, and then scheduled him to come hang my drywall and mud. This guy was in his 60s and not very tall. He came to my house, hung 4x12 drywall on the ceiling all by himself, and then did a spot on perfect job on my room. My question to you is, when we do things on our own, and my question to you is, when do we do things on our own, and when do we hire someone to do the work for us? I am in my early 50s, married with dual income, and am currently on baby step 6 of Dave Ramsey's plan, pay off the mortgage. 1, do I bathe my dog myself or pay the crazy dog lady $100 for the works? 2, do I mow the lawn and rake the leaves myself or pay the teen down the street $20 an hour for me to do it? Do I mend my own pants or pay the seamstress $10? Do I try to do my own taxes myself, pay an accountant $400, just send all my stuff in the IRS and have them do it for me? Do I sit and ponder my questions or pay asshole consulting to do the thinking for me? Basically, at what point do you take on a menial or time-consuming task, or when do you hire someone to do it for you so you support others while at the same time while you save time for other things? This is a YouTube response question for others to share. Please reply with a price. Thank you. All right. Let's go with the ideal world, and I'm going to say what the rule of thumb is, the ethical principle answer to the correct answer to your question. And then we're going to go practical. So we're going to go the ideal world. We're going to go theoretically, what economically, academically, theoretical, academic, and how it works in the real world. Theoretical. In the real world, or theoretical world, in theory, we talk about as a division of labor. And you should be specialized in one such thing or another, that you excel in your craft. You provide a superior product or service because of your expertise and experience working on that product. That when someone pays you $10 to make a widget, your widget is the best widget that people make widgets out of. And some rookie person, they can make their own widget, but your widget's going to be a lot better, higher quality, and you're going to save money and come out ahead financially and enjoy higher standards of living, which is what happened with you and the sheetrocking guy. And if everybody does that, and we have a division of labor, we're going to have higher standards of living for everybody. Okay, so that's in theory. And yes, that's how it works. That's a division of labor. That's why everybody's making money. That's how the vast majority of wealth was created since forever, since 200 years ago, Industrial Revolution and things like that. So you can thank Adam Smith for it. Academically, let's go through the moral principles and all that. You guys sit and think about it. You have freedom. That's the ultimate answer academically, philosophically. What should I? It's like, no, it's up to you, man. You have the freedom of choice. It's your time, whether that's in the form of you wanting to create widgets and get paid for it, and then you pay somebody else through time of your money, or you want to do it yourself. It doesn't matter. You have that right to live your life how you choose. You don't owe it to the tradesman. You don't owe it to the union workers. You don't owe it to the old guy. If you want to do it yourself, you go ahead and do it yourself. Like right now, I got to go and change a shifting cable. Is there someone who could probably do it better and faster and over the long haul, maybe cheaper if I worked more and did more a-hole consulting? Sure, but I'm losing my voice. I want to get out of here. Plus, I enjoy working on my car. Now, maybe you enjoy hanging sheetrock, and maybe it doesn't come out as good. And yeah, fine, that guy went without money, but you don't owe it to society to keep people employed. People owe it to themselves to keep themselves employed. And so your only job is to do whatever you want, as long as you're not hurting anybody. If you want to hang up your sheetrock, go ahead, save your money and go spend on other things. But then if we get into the academic question, like, all right, let's say you don't. All right, so first, you have the right to do whatever you want. Second, you don't owe any trade group or a group of employers, union workers, anything. You don't owe the Luddites a job, right? But in doing things yourself, what that does is it frees up more money. And that money, either whether you save it and someone borrows it and invests it in a company or whatever, or you yourself decide to spend it on something else, that goes to employ other people. And so, okay, fine, you did the sheetrocking yourself. Now you got the money to go and spend on paying a chef and wait staff to make you a good meal at a restaurant. Right? So the money is fungible. It doesn't just sit there and, oh, we lost it. Now, what you might make an argument is like, well, yeah, but the sheetrock guy didn't get paid. And he got paid at the expense of the restaurant people. Well, that's the free market. Maybe we don't want sheetrock guys, or maybe like, oh, I'd rather pay sheetrock guys than wait staff. Okay, then the sheetrock guy gets employed more, right? But you have the free. You don't. What? When it comes to essentially communism, everyone like, I want to be nice to have free things. How would that work? What everyone forgets about is like, well, how do we decide? What to work, what to produce and what not to produce. Like, when do you decide, nope, we need the sheetrock people. No, we need a horse and buggy people. How do you decide that? Let people figure it out on their own, even if it isn't the most economically efficiency, because to try and figure out what's most economically optimal is a pain in the ass. And that's even less economically efficient. Ask the Soviets. So you have a freedom of choice. You don't owe anyone anything. Even if you did do it yourself, now you're employing other people regardless, because that money is freed up and everyone's standards of living actually goes up. You have more money to spend. And in making your own decisions, like, I'm trying to figure out, like I can do sheetrock. I can do some trim work. I could do that stuff, but I'm not going to mess with electrical or plumbing, because that's like important. So it saves money and it channels it into the more important and productive and key things that are mission critical things that need to be done. So that your economy becomes more efficient if people decide to do it themselves. It's perfectly all right. And then we're going to talk about practicality, like how it actually works in the real world. Well, it's unique today because we're in 2021. We've had stimmy checks and we've raised 2 generations of children who don't want to work. Not to mention, most of my generation doesn't want to work either. And we could talk about whether it's better to outsource it to a specialist, but if you haven't noticed, we have not trained now 2 full generations of people to have any skills or abilities or trades. And even if you wanted to outsource it, you can't. And this has started to really cripple into the U.S. economy because it's destroyed or severely hampered the number one thing that makes an economy productive, and that is the division of labor. In the olden times, in the before time, and I'm talking like 2 years ago, I could have been reasonably assured I take my vehicle to a mechanic. The mechanic would have a day or 2 and they'd have my vehicle done. Or, hey, bring your vehicle around tomorrow. I'll take care of it. I got some time then. Now we don't know. And not only do we not know, like, it'll be like a month or 2. We don't know if it's going to get done right. Like that 60-year-old man, if he's still alive, he can make bank right now because he shows up on time and he does the job right and probably on budget. Right? You cannot find that. And half the reason I'm going to go probably do my own shifting cable is because I'm not going to waste my time calling. Oh, it'll be 2 months. 2 months. Yeah, you know what? In the 2 months' time, I can figure it out myself. And so doing it yourself, going on today and on into the foreseeable future, forget whether it's moral or right, you're taking somebody's job away. You're going to have to do it yourself because you don't have a choice. There's either no one to do the job, or if there's someone who's going to do the job, they're going to do it poorly. Or not, they'll do it half-assed. They will never get around to it. And that's something I want to convey to you people. I mean, you guys, well, I want to build a house. I want to buy a house and fix it up. Plan to do it yourself. Get a nice set of tools because you're the one's going to do it. And based on the work I've done around my house, not all the time, but there's been a couple instances where my craftsmanship is better than that. Why? Because the person doing it was a moron. They're lazy. Oh, yes. And he was a Gen Zer. He was a Gen Zer. Oh, and he had the look of hatred in his face because he had to work. How dare he have to work? So, yeah, I mean, you have every right to do what you want. Yes, in the ideal world, you would make enough money to outside, and everyone have a much higher quality job done. You have a much higher quality car, but no, we have such low quality, crap, degraded, lazy, incompetent labor that you're going to have to do it yourself. You all are going to be a jack of all trades because it's just, there's plenty of people, but ain't none of them been trained to have a work ethic or let alone skills. But the second you need someone to lecture you about Marxist politics and how you have privilege and the struggles of minorities or anything to do with the liberal arts or social sciences, we have tens of millions of millennials and Gen Zers with college degrees to lecture you about those. So if you're in desperate need for a good lecture to feel guilty about yourself because you work hard, we got plenty of people that can lecture you about that. But we ain't got nobody that can like really change oil or flush a cooling system, which I also had to do. All right. Any super chats? What we got? One super chat, channel 1800 Dom, 2 New Zealand dollars. Society is poopy, Cappy. Give us nothing, owe it nothing. Yep. I will not help out society. I will never donate to a charity unless it's for actually disadvantaged children, which means you have cancer. About it. It's about all I'm helping out. The rest of you have government money shoved up your ass. You don't need anything. All right, that's it. See you guys later. Toodles.